is INCRadio DCEM 954, the voice of truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ or Iglesia ni Cristo.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to New Jersey Satellite Studio, where we show you the flavor of life here in the District of New Jersey. Hey everyone, and welcome back to INC Radio New Jersey Satellite Studio, where we show you the flavor of life. And the flavor of life at this time of year is cough drops. But in addition to that, we learn together, and today we will be talking about genuine kindness. So, Leah, over to you.
All right. So, genuine kindness. So, I want to ask both of you. I'm going to toss it back to you. When you think of kindness, what do you think about? What's the first thing that comes to mind, Maricel?
Well, when I think of kindness, the first thing that comes to mind is generosity. Generosity in a sense that you are being generous to another person without expecting something in return.
Okay. What about you, Jeff? Same?
Sort of similar, but yeah, I always think about like being nice. Like when you're kind to someone, you feel like, actually when you mentioned kindness, the first thing I thought of was a smile, because kindness usually begins with a smile, a gesture, something nice, something that makes you feel warm and fuzzy inside, which is appropriate at this time because it is starting to get colder.
It is. I checked the temperature this morning. It was in the 40s, and in Celsius, that's like 8 degrees. So it warming up with kindness is a good thing. So just for clarity, so the definition of kindness is the quality of being friendly, generous, and considerate. So I was going to say there's also gentle, caring, and helpful. So that's another way to think of kindness. And also, one thing that came up is politeness, is being polite, kind. Is it the same thing? What do you think? Yes, no?
I don't think so. Like being polite is just being nice because you have to be nice during that situation. But kindness, it's like a quality that you carry with you, like no matter what the situation is, it just comes out.
No,
versus
I
being polite.
agree. I'm laughing because I agree. Sorry, I have like nervous laughter as well. So for everyone, I'm not laughing because I think it's funny. I agree, but politeness is a way of showing respect. So according to the internet, that's a difference. Politeness can be a kindness, but I agree with you in terms of definition.
Right, and you can be nice but not kind, and you can be kind but not nice, or you can be both, and we try for both.
That's very confusing. Okay, so let's go a little deeper. So genuine kindness, according to some publications, some studies, means not acting out of sense of obligation or manipulation, and it requires empathy. Do you agree with this definition, Marisol, Jeff? What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I think the another quality that you mentioned in that definition is the empathy. Like you cannot really be kind to another person if you don't empathize. I don't know if we all know the difference between sympathy and empathy. It's two different things. Like if you're empathic to that person, like you put yourself in the shoe of that person. That's how you can be empathic and kind to that person.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. And if you're very empathetic, sometimes that's also exhausting. I feel like I'm very sensitive. I know now we're going to dive into a little bit, like if you have a very high EQ, emotional quotient, I think you become very sensitive to other people's feelings. Okay, so kindness, genuine kindness, kindness not just out of politeness. Is that a good quality to have? We're gonna start off with Marisol because she's the executive mom on the show. Is this a quality that you emphasize with your children?
Definitely. I think kindness, if only everybody is kind, like it's going to be a better world, right? Like we try to be kind, and if that kindness ripples to other people, then it's just a better place overall to, to live in. But kindness is really important because it fosters meaningful relationships by, if you do something good to another person, or if that person does something good to you, it builds a relationship. You have stronger bond, with each other. And also being kind promotes emotional and mental well-being. There's actually a science that backs it up, not not to be sciencey, but simply put, like if you do something good to another person, it stimulates part of our brain, like the reward system in our brain, and it releases the happy hormones, the serotonin. Gives us a happy mood, and if we're happy, we are less stressed, we are less anxious, so it makes us a healthier person, and it diminishes like the bad hormones. So if you want to be healthy, be kind, right? And also it inspires positive change. So isn't it that if you something is kind to you, like automatically you want to pay it forward? Even if you don't do it, you don't show the same kindness to that person, but you want to be kind to another person. So kindness is one thing that when you share, it comes back to you.
That's what we hope, Maricel. When we're kind to someone,
Yeah.
it will come back to us. You have anything to add, Jeff, about is being kind a good quality to have?
Actually, I have actually a couple things to add to that. But piggybacking off what Marisol said, like you hope that it comes back, but the key thing about kindness is it's non-transactional. So you put it out there. You don't expect anything in return, although it is nice. And it is better to give than receive. And the thing is, when someone does a kindness to you, you do a kindness back. You don't just have two kindnesses, but there's that synergy of those two put together or those two added that's even greater than two. So, you take a kindness, you do a kindness. It's not just two, it's like 2.5, 3, 4. And being kind a good quality to have? I mean, honestly, that's what got me my wife. That's, if you ask her, what was the first
Whoa,
thing that she
whoa,
noticed
whoa.
about me?
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
Jeff, that needs an explanation. What do you mean?
Okay, well, for those of you who knew how, my wife and I met, because normally, she attended the worship service in our locale, and it could be high and by, but I actually invited her to coffee and then invited her to other things, because when you have someone visiting where your home is at, your home locale, your home, just anywhere that's home to you, or even if you're somewhere else, and you extend that kindness to them, you're being nice, and then you're inviting, and then, one of the things that you would ask her, if we could have her on the show, is that she said, she's like, well, why is he so kind? And that's what was the initial trigger, not my stellar good looks. For those of you who are only on audio, I have a radio kind of face.
That's not true, Jeff. But beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Okay. So you were very kind with your time to show someone around, and I think it is nice, especially as Christians. We're taught to show kindness. We're taught to be generous, especially when someone is in need of help, right? So that's something that's been ingrained with us with our upbringing. But I do want to go to this, and what is I was hesitant to ask this question on the show. There are two questions on our rundown that I was hesitant to ask. Okay, let's start off with what was the last instance you showed kindness to someone? So we're going to start off with Marisol. We talked
Okay.
about our pre-show meeting. I'm switching up the question. So when was the last time you showed kindness to someone?
Well, kindness for me is a daily thing. So it's only 10:55, right? So have I done kindness since I woke up? Yeah, but the minute you wake up, like for me, being a parent and having two boys, like I can show kindness immediately, like the minute I woke up. So for instance, today, it's the weekend, the boys can sleep in, like if but if it if it weren't, if it's not like we can sleep in, like if we have to do something, I have to wake them up. And sometimes if it's I have that time constraint, I would probably like, come on, wake up now and come on, move. But you have to be kind and think about, especially my Caleb. Like Caleb sleeps late because he has a problem sleeping, and he wakes up late. So you have to be kind to your family member and understand why I can get him up early. And well, other than that, I think being a therapist and my kind of I am fortunate that I can show kindness like every minute of my working day. So I'm privileged. I love what I do because I can always show kindness. Doing home care service, I'm on my own. I don't have a boss. Like I'm not like, I don't have the eye like, hey, are you doing the right thing? So it's integrity. Like I have to be I have to be kind no matter if somebody is looking or not. So I love that I have that opportunity to be kind to my patients, even if nobody is looking.
So you are full of happy hormones every day, all day long. that explains a lot about you,
That's
Maris.
why she's glowing, like for those listening and viewing, it's just coming out there. Like it's not
I
just
Aw.
the sound waves, it's not just the view, it's you're getting the positive vibes from
even when we have
Marisol.
challenges, like challenging moments during our broadcast, Marisol's always smiling. I love that. What about you, Jeff? When was the last time you showed kindness to someone?
Well, mentioned my wife earlier, and yeah, we actually ended up waking earlier than usual. Marisol, I'm just like Caleb. Like I am not a morning person, but for some reason was able to get up early, and my wife just wanted fresh bread this morning, fresh pandesal. So I'm like, you know what? I could have spent the time getting ready, doing some, getting ready for the
Mm,
show and other things. So yeah, I'm like, hey, let's go, let's go. Yeah, and then she said, okay, while we're out here, I want to see the leaves and the trees and the color change. She loves ginkgo trees. So I'm like, okay, we'll go pass by that street with the ginkgo trees, and it was just really nice to spend that morning time just bonding and having that quality time, because kindness is a step towards love, and that's what we want to do, and yeah, and we
that's
try to do it every day. Yeah.
I think this is great. I mean, inside our homes, I think some people take for granted that favors that your family members do for you is kindness. There are instances in other people's lives where their family members are not so kind. For me, I made Philip coffee this morning. So I'm also the first one up. So I make the coffee. And if he wants anything for breakfast, I try to accommodate within reason, of course. We have to get ready for the show. So I don't know what a ginkgo tree is, but I'm going to look it up after the show, Jeff. All right. So now we talked about the last time we were kind. And I know in our everyday lives, we're also kind. We hold the door, we smile at people. I say good morning to my neighbors, even if they don't look like they're ready for a good morning, just to be polite, but it's also kind. I, 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 I always find it, I was just raised to say hi to everyone. Thanks, mom. Thanks, dad.
Oh,
Just,
you know what? I want to share this. Like, what really makes me happy? Like, I always drive, right? If a driver, like when you're trying to make a turn on a very busy street, like if somebody gives in and lets you pass, I'm like, thank God for this kind driver. Like that really gets me every time, that somebody giving in.
yes. I have to say that is definitely something that's rare in my area. No one ever wants to let someone make a left turn or, come out of the driveway. I agree with you. Okay. So now that we're talking about acts of kindness that are done to us, what do you have a most memorable act of kindness that was done to you? We're going to start off with you, Marisol.
I do, and I hope she's listening right now. I'm not gonna mention a name, but I hope she sometimes listens. But yeah, I had to think back when I was looking at this question, Leah, Jeff, and this is what I want to share to the viewers. So back then, when I was pregnant with Caleb, I had a complication with my pregnancy, and needless to say, I wasn't on top of everything. Like I'm always on top of everything, mind you, but because of that, like I missed some deadlines because I was worried about my pregnancy. But to make the long story short, so I was on maternity leave and I used all my vacation days. And when I was, getting ready to go back to work, suddenly I can't go back to work because of some things, that it limits me from going back to work. So needless to say, we were financially, like that was like a greatest hardship in our relationship. So like I hit rock bottom, and like we had some difficulties with our car. We only had one car and we were renting car for like week by week. And you know how how draining that is to your finances, right? And then I am not working. So this sister of mine found out about my situation, and without me asking her, she just she has a spare car, and she let me borrow that car until we were ready to be back on our feet again. So that was really heartwarming. That was really kind of her to do that. And I also remember, although she did not say it came from her, there was this special occasion, and we weren't home when we came home. There was food waiting by the doorstep, and I'm like, this came from her. Like there was no note that it came from her, but I knew it came from her. So that was very, very kind of her. So I hope you are watching right now, or I'll probably send you a link of the show just to let you know how grateful I am for the kindness that you have shown to us.
That's extraordinary. That's amazing that someone, because they knew of your financial hardship, that they would lend you their car. I mean, cars, regardless of what condition it was in, I don't know if it was like, old or new or whatever. That is a financial asset. So that's
Yeah.
truly, that's genuine kindness. And
Mm-hmm.
considering your financial situation, there was no way you could pay that back. I mean, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I know we have a lot more questions, so I'm going to go to Jeff. What about you? What is
Well,
your?
well, mine actually pales in comparison, but like,
I
oh
was
yeah,
like, maybe we shouldn't have started off with Marisol.
yeah.
Mine isn't either.
Yeah. But yeah, my example is, one of the more memorable ones over the past month and a half or a couple months or so. There is a particular convention that happens every year in New York. Leia, it's the one that I see you and Phil at all the time. And, it's a fandom convention. So my wife and I were dressed up as particular characters from one particular fandom. And, we're just sitting around, stretching our legs. And this one lady comes up to us with this bag and she's like, "Hey, I noticed that you're dressed up as these characters, and we won this in a contest, and you know, it's not particularly her thing. So she was looking for someone to give it to. So she gave this bag of prizes to us, and it wasn't just a small thing. It was a couple T-shirts. It was a signed poster. It was things of value, and she just gave it to us. And as we said, kindness wasn't expecting anything in return except for maybe like a smile and gratitude. And you know, we only realized after we had opened up and after she had walked away that it was something of like real value, and it was just really nice. It felt so nice, and I'm just glad that afterwards we're like, oh, we said thank you. We gave her a smile and appreciated, but then it's like we really hope that we can bump into them, and then we actually did later on in the convention. We saw her and her husband sitting on the steps. So we're like, hey, let's take a picture. We want to remember this moment. We want to remember you, and that's one of the great things about kindness, because it does put that in your memory. Like Marisol said, there's a science to it, and then those connections form, and then you remember that, and it's such a nice thing to happen, and
You know,
we just really appreciate it. Yeah.
you could have sold those things, especially
Right.
if they're rare. I mean, people who are into certain shows will pay money
Hmm.
for rare collectibles. So I don't know. I was gonna say I don't know what the value of that entire package is, but it sounds like it could have been over $200 easily.
Probably, yeah.
Especially at a fan convention. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yep, and the value is even more because of the kindness that she gave to us.
Right. No, agree. So, real quickly, I think I've mentioned this story before. It was when I was after college. I did a tour, not a trip to Europe with a friend a college friend, and we kind of got stranded in Paris. we were going to the Netherlands, but there was a train issue. I think the weather was bad and the trains weren't running, and we had nowhere to stay. Our hotel was full, and I'm the only one who speaks French. She speaks Italian, so we were going. That was our trip, and I actually had mentioned it to one of the deacons in Paris, and he and his wife ended up hosting us for one night.
Oh.
And it was like, he doesn't know me. He knows I'm a tourist. I have a friend who he doesn't know either, and he welcomed us in his home. And his wife and his son at the time who was living there, they let us stay over, and he didn't have to do that. We could have just called our parents and asked for him, but it was so fast that he's like, oh no, just stay with us. It wasn't they didn't live in a chateau. This wasn't like a giant mansion in Paris. They didn't live in like a very expensive part of the city. They had a
Oh, really? Their home wasn't called Versailles? Or...
They didn't live in the palace. It was a very simple apartment, and they fed us, 2 meals, and we stayed in the living room, but it was very comfortable, and they were very generous, and they didn't ask for anything in return, and I will never forget that kindness. And I think that's something that stayed with me, even now. This was college was a long time ago. So I always think of this whenever we have travelers, just like you, Jeff, travelers in that come our way, that need help. So, okay. So, I also want to mention here, we also participate in Christian giving events like INC Giving, right? So real quick, just what is your favorite INC Giving event? Which one is it? Is it
Mine is going to like nursing homes or assisted living and bringing joy to the elderly. That simple act of giving joy to our beloved elders is for me one of like the thing that we do in our church that is very memorable for me.
What about you, Jeff?
Oh, we had a great one recently. We featured it on CFO in Action, which we won't see that particular episode, but we do also have Singing for a Cause, and also when we visit the police and the fire department, it is nice to show appreciation to, the civic workers, the municipal workers, because they are keeping us safe, and it's nice. And I can't really pick one. Like all the INC giving events are great. They're always fun.
What about the blood donation? Because we're having one today. Do you participate? I don't put everyone on the spot. I always try to give, and I usually get rejected.
Same. Yeah.
There's always something about my people think that if you show up to the blood donation, you'll automatically get accepted. No, there's a screening process, and I usually get rejected. There's only been like one time I was able to give blood.
Same here, Leia. I usually don't qualify, but
yeah,
I had one time.
One time.
Yeah.
And sometimes they give the sticker. I tried. It's like a consolation prize. I tried to give blood. I try every time. All right. Are there any other ways or instances that we can show kindness besides smiling? I always try to hold the door open on my commute if I can. But even though I don't like to hold the door because germs, but I'll hold the door open for the next person behind me just so that we're faster going out of the area. Anything?
Kindness can also lead to efficiency, so that's another reason to be kind. So yeah.
Another simple way of showing kindness is just merely being there, like listening when somebody needs, like active listening. Like you don't even know how important just being there, just lending an ear to listen. You don't even have to talk, you don't have to give advice, but just being kind, giving your time and listening to that person who really needs to vent out his or her emotions is a simple way of being kind.
Wow. So giving your time and your attention, not with your cell phone like this. Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh, that's cool. Or no, that's horrible. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, not like that, right? Like eye to eye contact. Okay. So let's talk about the impact of kindness. Is it important? And does being treated with kindness make you make better choices? I know it's kind of a long question. What about you, Jeff? I see Marisol's a little frozen on our screen, so it's you and me.
Okay. Well, kindness is a choice because you have a lot of us have been in other places, especially since we are close to New York City. People tend to kind of keep their head down. And even while I was traveling, also, that's one thing that I did notice about some of the people where we were. They kept their head down, kept to themselves, did their own thing. Um, but it's a choice, it's a choice to kind of, look up, and not to say that, make eye contact on the subway, but when someone's in line, for example, recent event, I was in line for something and a lot of people are keeping to themselves. And it just happened that the person behind me, we made eye contact, we smiled, and then we just simple things like, how's the day? Oh, nice weather. And then it just made it so much more positive to be online. And that actually seemed to, even though the others in line didn't talk, you could see their body language change. So choose to be kind and affect the world in that way. And it is infectious. It is a good infection. So, it's something good to put out in the world because we can all just kind of keep within our own little silo, or we can, knit ourselves into the society that we want.
Yeah,
We should make kindness an epidemic, right?
Oh, yeah.
I was gonna say, yeah, I think during the pandemic, we're so used to being by ourselves, we don't know how to interact with people anymore. But now that Marisol is back, so this is kind of important because I want, as a parent, how do you explain kindness to your children, or do you just show them and tell them this is the right thing to do?
Action speaks louder than words. So I really don't like explain every situation. This is how you are being kind. But we started like a tradition. Like whenever we go home to the Philippines, we always find these children who are homeless, and we always feed them. That's something that Caleb and Gabriel looks forward to whenever we go home. So we always find someone who is who needs food. And the last time we came home, like we were eating in this restaurant, and then this one boy came up and asked for food. We actually invited that boy to dine in with us, and the boy was like, I think he's trying to make it every time, and he said, oh, the security guard will not let us in. So Brother Brian talked to the security guard, can you let him in and dine with us? So those kind of gestures sticks with your children, and they always look forward to doing that.
I I'm just processing what you just said, because anyone who's been to the Philippines knows there's a lot of poverty there, and it's hard to say no. It really is. I mean, sometimes it's a matter of safety, right? But if you're in a safe location, that's amazing, Marisol, that your family's able to do that. I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry because I'm so happy.
It's
I
okay.
feel
We're halfway through the show, so you're able to.
that's so touching. I almost cried.
Happy, it's a happy tear.
It is. No, it's very touching. It's very touching because, we wish we could have all the money in the world to help everyone, but we don't. So, in our own way, we can make someone's life better, and they will never forget it. Like for us, maybe it's something that, we don't even remember that we did it, but for them, they will never forget. Okay. So, last question. I'm sorry that we have to wrap up our conversation. We're running behind schedule, and we have many comments according to our behind the scene crew. I just got a message. Are there situations where we should not be kind to someone? And we're gonna go with Marisol since, again, mom on executive mom.
Yes, unfortunately, there are instances where kindness is not called for. Like if kindness enables somebody to be dependent on you, like if somebody is always asking for support or financial help, maybe once or twice, good. But if it's making that person become dependent on you, then you should set boundaries and set limitations that you shouldn't be always be that kind. When you're being, I like the word you said, Jeff, like know when you are being manipulated, and sometimes you have to set boundaries. And if being kind enables bad behavior, like if you know that that person is not using the money that you give them the right way, then you should stop and offer a different alternative. So yeah, we have to be mindful of how we're being kind to another person.
Do you have anything to add, Jeff? This one's a
No,
little.
yeah, totally in line with that. Like, there are boundaries that you have to set. And if the other person is trying to manipulate you or taking advantage or, just has ill motive, I mean, you can be kind to a certain extent. You can set the boundary at politeness. Like, I would like to help you, but and you may or may not acknowledge the situation of, you know what they're doing, but set those boundaries and, at least do it politely. Um, you know, Granted, you have to set boundaries. So yeah, there are limitations to kindness. Yeah.
It is hard. It is hard, especially if they're your family members. But it's you also have to think of yourself and your family,
Mhm.
like your immediate family. We're all married here, so we have to think about our immediate family as well. Okay, wow. I'm glad we had that story from you, Marisol, because this is making me happy, but also a little misty-eyed. Okay, we're gonna move on to our next segment. Let's go to our shout out segment to our tech. See that bumper? Is he ready? No.
Happy birthday!
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Morning.
Good morning.
Happy birthday! Congratulations!
Congrats.
I have to shout out.
Mom, dad, best friend.
Okay, we're gonna start off with our panel for their shout outs. First to Marisol, go ahead.
Hello, happy weekend to everyone who is listening and watching to our show. Thank you so much for being there. Special shout out to Brother Brian, Brother Gabriel, and Brother Caleb, and to that very kind person to me years back. Hello, I
Mhm.
hope you're listening.
Yeah, I hope she's listening too. All right, Jeff, what about you?
All right, so greetings to and from my home locale of Bergen, and greetings to and from someone here. And over in Memphis, Tennessee, happy birthday to Sister Patricia Ravenera. Happy birthday also to INCradio's own Irish Dale Radham. I don't know where you are. You're all over the world, but it's a great thing. Happy birthday also to Celis Carino, Rafi Valdez, Josh Bautista, former New Jersey, and Sister Gray Paskowick. And welcome to the world, Noah James over in Las Vegas. And last but not least, happy birthday to my mom!
Happy birthday!
Yay, nice, nice. Okay, thanks for that, Jeff. All right, before we go to our live viewers, there's a lot of them today. We want to announce the winners of our INC Radio trivia in celebration of the 10th anniversary of INC Radio outside of the Philippines. So we have Lani from Long Island City, Flo Guillermo from Oregon, and Gregoria Fajardo, my mom, from Bayonne. So if you haven't already sent me your mailing address, please send it to me so we can mail you your prizes. All right, we have a lot of comments today. Wow. We want to say hello to Sister Isla Rojas from Elizabeth, and then we have a number of out of district. Wow, Brother Geberantos from IT Radio Orange County, California studio at the local of Anaheim. They're setting up for their upcoming broadcast. Hello to Victoria Tanduran, watching from Green Condo in Central from Florida. They're saying hello to all the New Jersey hosts from Tampa. That's Sister Cass from Dom Del Rosario. Hello from San Jose District of Silicon Valley. From Zanaya Novasteras, she's from the Midtown Toronto District of Greater Toronto, Canada. Florentina Wade also says hi from San Diego, California. And C.D. Mejia from the local congregation of Pasadena. We also have Sister Lani. Congratulations to your win. And Jennifer Trinidad from Long Beach, Orange County, California. And of course, Mario Oka from the locale of Brixtonville, District of Calooca North, and Renalyn Hernandez from Fresno, District of Central Valley, California. I can't keep track of all the districts in California. Also from Nathaniel Russell from #Fort Worth. All right, we have a lot of comments, and I'm so sorry we won't be able to read all of them. We also want to say hello to Sister Rowena Guerzon from New York. From Sister Cass, I just want to read this. Impact of kindness becomes a core memory that you appreciate regardless of how much time passes. And also, Sisters United Nova Stars, most memorable act of kindness. When she arrived from the Philippines in Toronto, Sister Kathy gave her a ride every worship service, which was an hour and a half drive to the Toronto chapel. Wow. That's very kind. We also want to say hello to Sister Flo Guillermo, who just commented. And I have to say, I'm so sorry. We're going to be so behind our schedule. Victoria Tendura, during the pandemic, one of my friends sent me financial support even without asking. Yeah, that the pandemic was a serious time. Okay, sorry to move on. Next is our hashtag winners.
Kuya Tech, please.
Now announcing our hashtag winners.
All right, for our honorable mention, congratulations to my local congregation, Winslow. Third place, congratulations to Bayonne. Second place, congratulations to Philadelphia. And our first placer, the unbeatable Aston. Congratulations. Over to you, Jeff.
All right, and we have our activity update. So, Kuya, if we can get the bumper.
Activity updates.
I love that one. Okay. All right. This weekend is the showing of the movie Elau in every congregation. So stay tuned to the places and times near you. Today, Saturday, as Leia mentioned, we have the blood donation drive. So if you are close to Elizabeth, we need your blood. Okay, and on November 16 at 2 p.m. is the District Kadiwa clothing swap and donation in Elizabeth. Another opportunity for all of us to show our kindness to our fellow men. And it should be fun, and it's always a great time to be together, everyone. So, as usual, please check with your local congregation for details on local events and the daily Bible study schedule. And next, we have CFO in action.
CFO in action.
The Elizabeth congregation from the District of New Jersey hosted a complimentary health event as part of the INC Giving Project, providing essential services to the community. Residents and brethren availed themselves of free flu vaccines, blood pressure checks, and blood sugar screenings. Additionally, nasal rinse kits were distributed to promote respiratory health. This outreach initiative demonstrated the Church's commitment to caring for the well-being of others, reflecting its core values of compassion and service. Brethren from the Winslow congregation of the Iglesianicristo in the District of New Jersey recently gathered for a fun-filled evening of fellowship and friendly competition at a local bowling alley. The event aimed to strengthen bonds among brethren while promoting unity and camaraderie. Amidst laughter and cheers, participants of all skill levels engaged in lively matches, showcasing teamwork and sportsmanship. The evening highlighted the importance of balancing spiritual growth with recreational activities, fostering a sense of community and togetherness outside of worship services. Led by District Minister Brother Alex M. Reyes, the brethren in the District of New Jersey continue to be united and active in participating with all activities approved by the church administration. And this was our CFO in action the last week. From the District of New Jersey, this is Sister Marisol Dagatot. More on CFO in action next week. See ya!
Okay, so we have a minute to spare. We have so many good comments today. We want to say hello to Patricia Guy. I hope I'm not pronouncing that wrong. From the group worship service of Dangria, Belize in Central America. So thank you for tuning in. So I just wanted to read off a few more comments before we close out our show about kindness. So showing genuine kindness is doing something without asking for anything back. There's no manipulation, and there's empathy behind it, and consideration is also an act of kindness. I saw Abe Evangelista mention that in the live chat. So from Sister Isla Rojas, act of kindness, opening the door for someone. And from Sisters, and I didn't know Visteris, we can show kindness by putting a smile on our face wherever we are. We also want to thank Victoria Tanduran for encouraging her family to help others where they live in the Philippines, to stop and offer them a ride. I think it's easier to do that there. Here it might be a little scary. But thank you everyone for all your comments, and off to you, Jeff, to close out the show.
And that's it for today's show. Thank you to everyone who tuned in. We'd like to thank our church administration for their continuous kind support to INC Radio and allowing us to have this show where we can stay connected and learn together. We especially thank our beloved Executive Minister, Brother Eduardo Manalo, and our SEBSI President and CFO Coordinator, Brother Angelo Manalo.
And before we say goodbye, we again thank all our viewers for taking the time to watch the show and share their insights and thoughts about showing genuine kindness. See you on the next episode. Bye.
Take care, everyone.
This is INCRadio, DZEM 954, the voice of truth, the official radio station of the